Alright, this is not the promised overview, but this is going to be a quick guide on how to get gold in Fire Emblem Warriors Through Hopes. Now, if you've played this game through at least once, you'll kind of realize that the economy in this game is about as jacked up as our real-world economy, meaning that certain things are really easy to earn, but they're not worth much, and the main progression blocker is going to be gold. Over time, a lot of the other materials will become irrelevant, but gold is going to be the major thing that you're going to need to get a lot of if you want to optimize multiple characters. So I'm going to show you the main way to upgrade weapons first, because that's going to be the main gold sink, in my opinion, that and leveling up characters. So, first off, let me go to the Facilities Master.
Allow me to assist.
So I'm about maybe 30% into my third playthrough, so this is kind of set up like a Tales game where you just stop having things to spend materials on. So what you want to do is, when you start a new playthrough, you want to max out your smithing stones, and the best way to do that is to go to deliver resources here. You're going to get a lot of these just as you play, and they have no use. It's not worth selling them at all. The exchange rate for selling them is way worse than the exchange rate for getting the smithing stones. Smithing stones are basically going to be the only way that you'll be maxing out weapons realistically, because the amount that you get from clearing missions is pretty pitiful. You'll be lucky to get maybe like 2 upgrades on a single piece of gear for beating a mission on S rank. So you want to get rid of these. See, like right now I've got 998, the max is 999. So let's go ahead and look at a weapon I'm going to be working on here.
Hey there, need something?
You can see I've been hard at work here. I have 2 maxed out swords. I've got a spear almost maxed out as well. Actually, we can just max that out right now.
Is this it?
Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. So generally, you either want to max out the legendary weapons, the hero's relics, or just get like a B rank weapon, because B rank weapons actually just take smithing stones, and you're going to have more of those than you'll be able to use, even like towards the end of the game. So it could be nice. You could just kind of throw it on a character's body, and you know, they'll be decent enough in battle. So right now, I'm going to be working on this second weapon here. I've got it maxed out in terms of the reforging, but I need to upgrade it to the max. It's going to take 234k in gold, which we'll get to shortly, and it's going to take another 101 arcane crystals. So let's go back to the...
See you around.
Let's go back to the supply master.
Supplies are the
Trade smithing stones. There you go. So now, what you want to do is replenish your smithing stone supply. There. I definitely would recommend prioritizing your camp the first playthrough, because on the first playthrough, you can get maybe like 80% of it maxed, and then in the second playthrough, you'll probably have to play about halfway through, and then at that point you will have enough materials to upgrade the facility or the town to the max. So at that point, these basically just become smithing stones. So you're going to have a finite amount of them you can get a playthrough, but playthroughs get shorter and shorter for a number of reasons. Go here, go to your little dwelling here. Go in here and you could buy these. Hold on. You could buy these. These are 3 renown each, so just from doing the chores, the chore master little side thingies, and beating a chapter, you'll get about 20 renown. So that will be enough to buy about 6 of the Vanguard whistles. Now you will be using those to skip through the beginning of the game, because this game has some kind of weird New Game Plus stuff. It's kind of better than a Tales game in some ways, because you don't have to grind any kind of currency to carry everything over. they were nice enough to realize that if you even want to play this game again in the first place, I mean, it took me about 23 hours. And you know, I don't care about Fire Emblem as a series, so I didn't watch a single cutscene. It still took me like 20 hours. They were nice enough to realize that, you know, maybe you want to skip to the part where you can get more experience, you can get a certain character, or in the main game's case, you want to unlock the rest of the things in the town, because you can't get the tactics NPC until like chapter 5 or 6. So you can use these, and on your first playthrough, I would recommend just clearing this place out completely. Buy everything you can in here, because most of these won't come back. The only thing that will come back on each playthrough is the experience gems and the knowledge gems, and realistically, you only need like 4 of these each, because that's about the amount of characters that you can have on the map at a time, at least playable ones. So past that point, you can buy these buffs as well, but these don't replenish until you beat the game again. So your main sync is going to be this, at least until you get to the end. You will want to actually do some of the fights, because sometimes there's rewards for getting S ranks. They may be certain pieces of gear that you need for whatever kind of build or characters or units you're trying to use. But for the most part, you want to be stocked up on these. I just bought 4 of them right there. Okay, so in terms of getting gold, what you want to do is you want to go to the Record Keeper. You want to go to Golden Wildfire. You want to pretty much beat this whole thing. And then you go to Attack of the Pegasus Knights. So there is another map that people have been using to farm gold. The problem is there's 2 problems with that map. The first is, I can't really talk about it too much, because you know, some people who do care about the story, there's some pretty big spoiler implications there, but the cliff notes is you can only influence or choose 1 character. The other 3 characters are locked, even in free mode. So what that does is it limits how much grinding you can do at once. If you pick a map like this one here, you have free reign of 4 playable characters, so you can change their classes around. You can put different things on them, however you want to run them. So in terms of your setup, you want to give the Merc Whistle to Balthus, the big like mercenary guy. His default class is the Fists. What this does is it makes it so if you do 150 hits, the enemies will go fly, and if the enemies go flying, then you'll get a bunch of extra gold. So what that does is it gives you a pretty significant amount of extra gold just by playing. This is how I have my Shez set up. He's got a maxed out Mercurius. He's got the Balthus ability on. So I recommend doing this on your first playthrough. Your first playthrough is going to take about 20 hours. That's if you're skipping the cutscenes. I was pretty much a completionist on my first playthrough, but I didn't watch any of the story because it just doesn't interest me. I don't really care about Fire Emblem as a franchise. So you definitely want to give this to him, because gold is going to be the major progression sink or progression blocker if you choose to play the game farther. So if you get this on your first playthrough, your second playthrough is going to be faster by proxy, because you'll have the Merc Whistles, and you're going to have like an overpowered Shez. So you can use him or her to pretty much plow through everything. So you want Appraisal and Despoil on everybody. So I have that set up on, I believe, all the characters. He does not have it yet, and I actually don't know if he gets it. Yeah, he gets it as well. So you want to get a total of 4 characters if you can that have it, and if you can't, it's cool too, because 3 is more than enough. So as you can see here, this guy's got it as well, and then so does Petra. So what that's going to do is it's going to give you better quality materials. So you might get a little bit of materials from to upgrade from doing this, but like I said, the economy in this game is all kinds of jacked up. You don't get anywhere near enough materials just by playing. Pretty much the main way is to just max out the town as soon as possible, and then immediately use all those materials to max out your camp, and then turn them into smithing stones. Okay, so with that said, actually didn't set this up completely properly. You can go and you can give yourself all the food buffs that allow you to get more awakening gauge, but honestly, with my Shez the way he is, it's not really needed.
I'd rather push on, but we need to defend this position for now.
So go and team up with whoever you want to level up, like him.
I'll do it.
These guys are pretty much just going to be bench warmers. Not going to be using them for much. Shez can clear it out. As you can see, this is a very small map. Not a lot of ground to traverse. See all those little particle effects. That's extra money that I'm gaining. There is nothing of note here at all. This is not a, you know, hardcore Dynasty Warriors 4th weapon mission. It's literally just kill stuff. So, if you're like me and you like that, you'll probably have a lot of fun doing this. You'll be able to experiment with characters a lot easier.
This is what comes from one who shares my belief in giving your all.
Oh, please.
Everybody's getting shredded.
Bitter than blackest coffee. The taste bitter than blackest coffee.
So in order to do this, I recommend at least maxing out Shez's weapon. Ironically, Shez's passive is like not really that great. It's great at the beginning of the game because you can essentially use him or her to kind of get around as fast as a mounted unit, but later on there's an accessory you can get that will make any grounded unit as fast as a mounted one. So generally, if you want to speed clear stuff, you can put this on Shez to give yourself a lot of money, and then from there you can tag into the other unit that has that relic on. And what that will allow you to do is basically just tag to them, and you'll still get the speed of Shez's default teleport, but you'll be getting a lot extra money as well. So there's pretty much no downside.
This is just the beginning.
You are equal to you. You must be returning with me to Bridget.
You can pretty much go straight to the end at this point, but it's nice to clear all the objectives. You might get a decent weapon, you might get maybe some more materials or something.
Too easy.
Alright, let's go get the messenger up here.
This is what comes from one who shares my belief in giving your all.
A bunch more generic officers spawn, so can't hurt.
This is just the beginning.
Did you learn to fight like that in your mercenary days? Or have you always had it in you?
I'm unstoppable.
Truly a forceful reckoning.
These guys will spawn, but since you beat up the messenger, they come out and they die really fast. I haven't tested this to the point if it's faster to just go to the end, but they die so fast I don't really see a reason not to. It's like DFO, full clear. Alright, so that's all the generic officers.
This is just
So now you just go and bully the main camp here.
You've indeed achieved most spectacular results. Go now!
So you can farm support points this way as well. You'll be farming gold, of course. You'll also be farming class experience. So if you have a lot of knowledge gems from beating the game in the past, definitely recommend putting those on.
Won't be a problem anymore.
Really only going to be using Shez and whoever they're paired up with. So the other two characters, you pretty much just change them to random classes if they have an ability you want to learn from there. And there you go. Let's see what the final tally was. 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So even on hard mode, that's a pretty decent amount of experience. I mean, like he's almost ready for his final martial artist class.
I could use that.
So about 33k for 4 minutes. The other map, which I can't really mention because it's a pretty major story spoiler, that map will get you about 48k, but it takes about a minute longer. There's a lot of cutscenes, and you can't really control what the other characters have. You can't switch them out at all, so I think this map is better in the long run. There's basically no cutscenes. You could definitely clear a little bit faster if you spammed Awakening, but you have full control over the 4 characters that you bring with you, so that gives you a lot of extra control over your grind. If you want to level up a certain character, you want to level them up in a class you don't like playing, you want to get their support points up so that you can give them a Merc Whistle, and all the while you're getting so much money. You're getting about, let's see, you're getting about 200k every half hour. So about every, I'd say 40 to 45 minutes, you can probably max out a weapon. The only caveat is that once you get towards the end of the game, you're going to have a lot less building materials to turn into smithing stones. So I've been able to max about 2 to 3 weapons per playthrough, which, considering you'll have the Vanguard whistles to skip a lot of the filler battles, is actually not that bad. I definitely think they should fix the economy in this game. I think that selling weapons is pointless. So is trading them in for weapons. Trading them in for stones, I mean. The exchange rate is just terrible. I definitely think they should buff how much you can sell the weapons for, because most of them are honestly useless. You're going to be using the same couple weapons on everybody, and because of the way that the class system works and the clone movesets and stuff, you really only need, like, 2 or 3 optimized weapons per category. There's only 5 weapon categories, so you're going to run out of things to really use the smithing stones on in the first place. But the main problem is just everything is such a huge gold sink. I'm sure there will be DLC for this game. I hear it's pretty successful so far, so I'm sure they'll probably do some power creep, and maybe they'll optimize things, they'll polish it a little bit more. But right now, it's a pretty major grind, but this gets it about as short as possible, so you can play your favorite character, you can play your favorite class, and you can get a lot of things done at the same time. Thanks for watching.